This meeting is being
Hi, it's
recorded.
Brian Newman with the Spotlight of Business Owner Show, and today we're thrilled to have John Lazzaro. Hi, John. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, he's with the Health Insurance Dad, and I was just looking at his website and Facebook page, and very, very informative. He's been in the business for a long time, so looking forward to this interview, and you should be too. You're going to learn a lot. John, so to begin with, how did you get into the business of health insurance?
It's a great question. I had been in corporate America for, many, many years, over 20 years. And eventually the last company I was with went bankrupt. And so I found myself without employment and went on a COBRA plan, which was about $2,000 a month for
Oh,
my
wow.
family. And I had decided at that point that I wanted to go into business for myself. And then I thought there has to be something better than a COBRA plan at 2000. So I started researching all the different options and ACA plans and private plans. And I gained such a wealth of knowledge. And I thought, well, there's a lot of people in the world in the same predicament that I am that need help. That this stuff, all this information is confusing. I can help explain it to them and put them in a better place. And so then I decided to start selling health insurance. And that's how I got into it, because I was in that position.
Oh, cool. No, I know what you mean. I've been there before too, and I know what you mean about Cobra being expensive and yeah, it's not
And when
fun.
when you're on a corporate plan, you're at work, you enroll each year, you don't pay much attention to it, and you don't know what the details behind it are, because corporate plans are the best, so you never have to worry about it. So at that point, it really becomes a challenge when you lose it.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of these plans, I know you offer a variety of plans. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit about those different types of plans that are available?
Yeah, the different types of plans. There are basically two streams that you can go down. One is you can go with the deductible and have a copay, and those are kind of, they call them loss limit plans. So those would be like your employer plan. We have a deductible and a copay. You have a max out of pocket. ACA plans fall into that as well. And so those are your typical plans that people are familiar with, because you have a max loss each year. Then there's other plans which are less, provide less protection, in the sense that you may be at risk for paying a lot of expenses. And those would be short-term plans, and those are going to be limited benefit plans, and those types of plans where you're not, there's not a cap on what you're going to pay out each year.
Wow. Oh, that could, if you end up in the hospital, that could end up being pretty expensive, you know?
Yeah, so there, I mean, and sometimes there's misinformation about those plans. Somebody may say to you, you'll have $5 million in coverage, but
Uh-huh.
that $5 million sounds like a lot. You'll never hit it. But what they don't tell you is there's a maximum amount for each specific condition. So if you break an arm, they say that's worth 2,000. If it costs you
Oh,
7,
wow.
you
Wow.
pay the difference. So you have to be sensitive to what people say. So that's one key word to pay attention to. If they tell you a specific coverage amount, the other one is, oh, we'll cover, your rate won't increase for several years. What that means is your rate won't increase, but it's a short-term plan where they do redo the underwriting every 6 months and evaluate your health. And if you are in the middle of cancer treatment and the bills are too high, they'll kick you out, because you
Oh,
no longer qualify for that plan, and then you're left without coverage. So those
wow.
types of plans have lower premiums, but they're shifting the risk of expenses to you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I've heard of there's PPO plans, there's HMO plans. Can
Yep.
you just briefly explain the difference between the two? And then are PPO plans the best available between
All
the
right,
two?
so it's a great question. HMOs, which most people are familiar with, which you'll get through the ACA, and a lot of employers offer HMO plans. They are generally smaller networks. They have, you have to get a referral to go see a specialist. So they're very controlled systems. Okay. And in those HMOs, because they're smaller networks, you won't see providers like the Mayo Clinic, or you might not see the Cleveland Clinic. You won't see the top hospitals or doctors in those networks. So people, for instance, sign up for ACA HMO plans, and the doctors that they like aren't there. A lot of doctors won't accept the ACA plans, so that's a limit to them. PPOs, much broader networks. You don't need a referral. Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, MD Anderson, all the major hospitals participate in PPOs. And PPOs are a little more expensive, but not all PPOs are good PPOs. So there are PPOs that will provide a limited benefit plan, like we are talking about before, which poses a risk to you because you might wind up paying medical expenses. So limited benefit plans from providers like Multiplan PHCS. If you hear Multiplan PHCS, that's a PPO plan, but it's also a limited benefit plan. It's not a full coverage plan. So you have to be aware of what people are actually providing you. So if somebody says PPO plan, ask them who the PPO network is. It's actually the network that you got to pay attention to.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, wow. No, and also the time period, I always thought enrollment was between November and January, I think January 15th. We were talking a little bit before this interview,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm telling you, your wealth of knowledge. Can you elaborate about, when can you actually enroll in some of these plans?
Yeah, and you're right. Most people have the preconceived notion that November 1st through January 15th is open enrollment, and from the majority of people, that's true. That's the time frame that the government has set. However, there are several other conditions that allow you to enroll throughout the year. So if you move to another state, if you have a death or birth in the family, if you lose a job, there's several different conditions that allow you to enroll anytime during a year. So if you got married on, say, April 1st, you have 60 days from April 1st to enroll in a new plan. There's no issue at that point for you to enroll. Now, those conditions are related to the ACA HMO plans. If you want a good PPO plan, um, say from like a United Healthcare, those plans are available throughout the year. There is no time frame for which you can enroll. So even if you, so right now, this time of year, we're in February. Some people rolled in HMO plans back at the end of last year, and they're not happy with them, and they think they're stuck in those plans. You're
Uh-huh.
not. You can actually get out of that HMO plan, cancel it, and sign up for a PPO plan. There's no
Oh,
there's no issue with you doing that at this point in time.
oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was always under the impression that, if you don't make that deadline period of January
Yeah.
15th, you're out, and you
You're right.
can't sign.
Yeah, no, there's lots of other opportunities for you to enroll in plans.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good to know. No, what, so selecting a plan, can you tell us, there's three main elements to selecting a good insurance plan. What are those?
Yeah, yeah. So I talk to people, and a lot of people will say, I'm healthy. I don't really go to the doctor, and they're trying to get the lowest cost plan. And it's like one of the most important things about a plan is not the doctors that you have now, because if you go to the doctor now and you're healthy, you're going for an annual physical, you're going for a checkup, you got a cold. That's not the doctors you really want to know if are in the network. You want to know if if something were to happen to you, can you go to the best doctor available for a heart condition? Can you go to the Cleveland Clinic for your heart? Can you go to Sloan Kettering in New York for cancer? Can you go to Mayo Clinic or doctors related to those entities in the future? So that's the second thing. The first is, what doctors are in the network that you may need in the future. And when you get to be, in your 50s and 60s, that's very, very important at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right. The other one is going to be, is there a max out of pocket? So
Oh, yeah.
what is that max out of pocket? Is it 5,000? Is it 7,000? Is it 10,000? Is it something that if the wheels were to fall off in some condition, affected you, you can
Hmm.
absorb that, right? That you have to pay attention to. And then the last one is on a monthly basis, is it affordable? Can you afford that particular plan that you're going to have? So those three elements, and I walk through those three elements with each individual to make sure that their expectations and their situation align with those three answers, to make sure that they're in the right place. And I will tell you, I'm 65 now, and I know my wife and I, she's 61, never had issues, but as soon as she turned 58, she had to have a gallbladder removed. I had to get
Oh,
a knee
wow.
replaced. I had to get a knee replacement. You know,
Yeah.
the the engine starts to fall apart, and the everything breaks down. So you got to know, you know, earlier on, I never thought about what doctors I would need, but then you start thinking about, oh, who's the good doctor that's going to replace my knee or take out my, gallbladder,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you want to make sure
Yeah.
those good doctors are in your network.
Oh, wow. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, John, again, for the viewers that are listening, can you let them know how can they reach you? What's the best way? Do you want them to go to the website, read, and maybe apply there, like to
Yeah,
set up
yeah,
a phone interview, or can they call you directly?
yep, some people are leery of who they're dealing with, so they can go to my Facebook page, the Health Insurance Dad, and get some information about me, just like you did today. They can call me, 440-867-4863. I'm always available. Or even through Facebook, they can make appointments with me through that venue as well. So there's several ways that they can reach me.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, and then also I was going to ask you, do you go all over the valley? I know, or are you just limited to the Phoenix area?
Okay. So I am actually licensed in 30 states. So I will personally, I mean, on face to face, I do go all over the valley and meet with people, but I do most um, um, policies through, Zoom calls and the internet. And I have clients actually in all 50 states. So,
Wow.
even though I'm here in Arizona, I actually, a lot of my clients here in Arizona refer their relatives and friends in other states to me, and I'll work with them wherever they are.
Oh, okay. Do you do company group plans, for like a small company? And
Yeah,
would be the minimum if you do?
yeah. I get a lot of questions about business plans. So for businesses, group plans are always the best that anybody can get because you're part of a group, and the costs are there's cost benefits for having a group plan. The
Uh-huh.
the the issue there is, or the main point is, group plans only provide discounts if you have 25 or more employees. So if you have less than 25 employees, you're not really getting any benefit from joining a group plan. All right.
Oh,
Other than
okay.
some consistency. So what I do is I like to focus on companies that have 15 or less employees. And then what I will work with the business owner, because I have a lot of business clients, I work with them on what they want to contribute, how they want to pay the healthcare for their customer with their employees, and then I work with each employee individually, and I will tailor a plan to each employee within the parameters of what the employer has set, and then I control and manage the whole plan for the employer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Medicare. Do you get involved with selling Medicare plans to seniors?
My market is for 65 and for under 65. So I deal not in the Medicare space, but I do have a partner that I work with, who is a veteran, has been doing the Medicare for God knows 15, 20 years. And, we work closely together, where I handle the under 65 and he'll take care of the Medicare. So if anybody does need Medicare, they can contact me through the channels we said before, and I will get them all set up on Medicare as well.
Oh, okay. No, and then just one final question. Yeah, who is your ideal client? I know there's a lot of people in this valley and
Yeah.
all over, who makes an ideal client for you?
So For me, I do focus on self-employed individuals, anybody that's a 1099 worker. Um, Again, they have to be under 65. Individuals that are moving into Arizona or out of Arizona, if they're going to another state, they're eligible to get new plans. Um, Kids that are aging off their parents' plans. So with the Obamacare
Oh,
plans, once you turn 26, you have to come off your parents' plan. So I help those individuals as well. And then there's a lot. We talked earlier before about employer plans are really the best plans because employers subsidize your plan. They have large groups of employees.
uh-huh.
Um, but there are some companies, and I find that school districts do this a lot, that if you're with an employer, they may pay 100% of the medical cost for the employee, but to add family members might be a mortgage payment. It could be up to $1,000 or more. So in those instances, if you even have a good employer plan for you, but to add your family is costly, I can help get a separate plan for them that will save you, a good amount of money.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, so John, one more time, if you could let people know how to get in touch with you, that would be really helpful.
Okay, so people can get in touch with me by going to my Facebook page or Instagram. In both places. It's the Health Insurance Dad. They can call me at 440-867-4863, or they could even email me at thehealthinsurancedad@gmail.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so reach out to him. Like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge. Go to his Facebook page, his website, and get in touch with him today. So, yeah, John, thank you again for being on here. It's great to see you.
Brian, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.